Running landscape photography workshops is a very fulfilling job. You get to make new friends, visit some of the world's most beautiful locations, have fun, and hang out with like-minded people. It's also hard work, long hours, and can be incredibly challenging. As a photographer myself, of course I'm going to want to take images along with the rest of the group, but for me it's different because I've already photographed these places, so it becomes a creative exercise in trying to photograph a well-known location in a way that feels different and goes against what people expect from a country like Iceland.
So it's a new day, but it's not, it's the same day, and there isn't any night, so I don't know where we are. I don't even know what day it is, but it's a new shooting session, shall we say. And we've just left our beautiful campsite, the best campsite I've ever been to in terms of just, I don't know, epicness. And leaving the campsite, you drive through all this beautiful scenery and it's so hard not to stop. So even though it's the middle of the day, we've all stopped at this location and this viewpoint here. It's superb. Now I was looking at this landscape for a good 10 minutes, no camera, just taking it all in. And I couldn't see a shot with this here because this is massive, it's huge. I believe this was a location in the latest Star Wars film. I don't know, that's what somebody says. And I couldn't find a shot because there was no scale, there was no balance, no composition I could find to sort of make, you know, to do this huge landscape justice. But then when you start observing and looking and just taking a few moments to take it all in, you start to see compositions within the landscape, and that's exactly what happened. And I found this rather nice little square vignette in the landscape, and it's where the glacial moraine meets the green kind of mossy pastures, so you get this contrast of colour between black and green. I'll quickly just show you the shot that I've got. So I'm almost at 200mm and it's just focusing straight down on the landscape, no filters. F11, a 2-second timer, and there really isn't much to it. It's not about the technical side, it's more about just the seeing and finding these shapes and compositions in the landscape. And that's exactly what I've done here. So I'm going to grab this shot, F11, no filters. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous.
I do.
Having moved to a new campsite on the south coast, we can relax. It's important to rest, reflect on our time so far in Iceland, and look forward to our last day of this landscape photography adventure. The weather is calm and the sun is shining. Of course, these conditions rarely last in this volatile, unpredictable country. I am not gonna lie, the weather is letting me down, it's letting us down. It's grey, it's miserable, the mountain should be there, the mountain's not there, cloud is there. But you know what I say? I say shoot to the conditions and try and use the weather, the atmosphere, the mood, the rain and the wind, try and use that to your advantage. Now you may be wondering, you may be thinking, Tom, you're running a workshop, why are you out here by yourself? Well, the majority of the group are in the van keeping warm, waiting and hoping that this is going to clear.
I'm gonna bring you down here so there's no wind. Yeah, the group are in the van, keeping warm, keeping dry, and I just said I'm gonna pop out for a quick walk, you know, a quick exploration, see if I can find anything. I've actually found an image, and it's different, and I'm probably more excited by this image than I should be. Sorry, this wind is ridiculous. There we go. I'm just lying down to get out of the wind because it's yeah, blustery. So I've been walking around looking at this location. It's a dark, depressing location. And if you actually try and create images that show the sense of space and the sense of isolation that you feel when you're here, then that's when you start to see things. You know, don't just think lush sunsets and sunrises, epic mountains. You know, think dark, think moody, think empty, just think how it feels. Think how it feels, right? So, let me show you my findings. So I saw these two rocks, a small stone and a bigger stone, perfectly grey, perfectly placed, with no footprints around them, no distractions around them, and they just sit so beautifully in the landscape. You know, some people will see this image and just say, oh, you know, it's just two rocks on a black beach. But I see more than that. I see emptiness, I see mood, I see misery. But something about it appeals to me. And that's what photography is. It's finding things that appeal to you and then trying to get that across in an image. I'll tell you what doesn't appeal to me, this wind. So I've got my aperture set to f9, and I have focused on the larger of the two rocks. And it's just a very simple image. There is nothing in this photograph apart from these two stones. And that's why I like it, simplicity at its best. You may agree, you may not agree, I don't know. It's a democracy, it's subjective. But please do leave your comments below. Constructive criticism only, please. Right, I'm going to grab this photograph now. F9, it's giving me a 2-second exposure. I'm focused on the bigger of the two rocks, and everything's well exposed. There's no shadows clipping, no highlights clipping. Right, here we go, 2-second timer, shield from the wind, and that's it. It doesn't get much more simple than this, and it's the perfect subject to shoot on a day like this. A miserable, horrible day. You're out here. I wanted to show people that there are images to be had even when it's miserable like this.
Yeah.
Bye. Beckon workshop attendees over so I could just show them what I'm doing and what I'm seeing. I think that could be quite helpful to see how other people interpret scenes. So we've got here, you can see this light coloured sand here, see this? And then the darker colour, that light coloured sand is the dry sand blowing because it's so windy, so it's blowing across the foreground. And we have the waves and these mountains in the background, which you can't see on this screen, but on my camera you can see them with the help of a neutral density graduated filter 2 stops. And I just love it. Again, square, I don't know what it is, I'm in love with the square format. So it just helps me so much in these bleak situations. So I'll quickly show you what I've got here. It's a lovely composition, it's simple, it's all about the foreground, the mountain in the distance, the waves, the blacks, the whites, the contrast, the low cloud, it all works, it's fantastic. F9, 2-second exposure, focusing on the far mountain and just picking out shapes in this sand and finding all this beautiful empty space, and it's just superb. I'm really happy with this image. I'm gonna grab this now, 2-second exposure, F9. Sorry for the rush, but you know, it's windy, I'm working with people. Just wanted to show you quickly what I've seen and how I'm gonna capture it. So here we go. Bring on a miserable, horrible day anytime. And there's always images to be had.
So that marks the end of this trip to Iceland, and it has been one to remember. We may not have had the best conditions, but spirits were always high, images were created, and new friends were made. Iceland feels like a country that can't be tamed, and that, along with its rugged beauty, is what keeps bringing me back time and time again.